Hey MGTOWs, this is Vention. I just put my elliptical together yesterday and rode it, and man did it ever irritate my the place where they sewed my butt cheeks together. Man, I was having difficulty even walking a little bit yesterday. Not exactly fun. I didn't put my tools away, but that means they're all right here so I can use them. And considering that there is no X chromosomes in the house, well, I've got a couple of X chromosomes, but only Y chromosomes live here. So basically, nobody's here to bitch that I have my tools out. Well, and just thinking about, even in my current condition of fucked upness from cancer, I still have an enormous amount that women are missing out on. And if they had only treated me halfway decently, I might have chosen a different course of action. But since they didn't, oh well. That's life. These things here are load stabilizers, but they also increase the ability of the truck to handle a heavier load. They basically bring the sheesh, I might need some WD-40 on this. There we go, I broke it loose. Anyway, they bring the overload springs in. Sheesh. I'm uncoordinated today. I hate losing shit. Huh. Where did you go? Anyway, they bring the load stabilize. They bring the overloads. Oh, here we go. Found it. They bring the overload springs into operation. I mean, into contact with the mainspring, and therefore, right between here. Yeah, this is an overload spring right here, the lower one. And then the wedge here, it actually allows you to engage the overload springs right away. Instead of waiting for the thing to sag down to the point where the overload springs will engage. Where is that P? That little clip. There we go. Oh, actually, I did that wrong. It's been so long since I've had the camper off the truck. That it's been sorry, I'm doing some heavy multitasking here, but it's been so long since I've had the camper off the truck that I haven't disabled the overload system for a long time. Okay, I'm gonna have to get up to do this. That's what I'm doing wrong. Got to line up the little pen. Till it pops in. There we go. I have a few errands to run, so I'm going to get some diesel in the truck. I'm feeling fairly decent today. Okay, that's the disabled position. So that this is the main spring, the main spring that provides you know, springiness to the rear axle, and this is the overload, the lower overload spring. So when the truck really sags down with a major load, generally this overload spring here will engage, as well as these upper overload springs, and then it will basically be able to carry a heavier load, but it'll be really saggy. But with the camper, I just put these really thick blocks on the top. And I put these little wedge devices in, and then basically it'll engage both overload springs right away, and then the camper doesn't cause the back end of the truck to really sag down, because I don't like the look of that. It looks tacky. So yeah, I'm basically feeling a little better today. I've got a little bit of energy, so I'm going to use it. I'm going to go to a local hillbilly establishment and get some breakfast, and then top off the diesel tank. I'm going to buy a part that I need at Home Depot, and then I'm going to come back here and get to work. I also need to mow this grass. Sheesh. It's starting to look like that the place is abandoned. So yeah, good times. That's the plan for the day. So yeah, I'm just saying that that in this, I'm sure that there is more than one old, dried up old prune woman who's my age who would be happy, to have a big cash cow and labor source. Even in my current condition, I can still do a lot. But back in the 70s, they were burning their bras and saying, "I don't need no man, fish like a bicycle." And they made themselves so toxic that they're nearly impossible to live with. So the result is they aren't living with me, and they're living by themselves with cats. And then when the power goes out, when the snowstorm rolls around, they just suffer tremendously. Whereas I, if all else fails, I can just kick back in my camper and run the propane heater Um, I've got a propane heater here as well. I could put it in the room and run that. But basically, there is the result of their arrogance and their stupidity and their their innocent, easily led nature that caused them to jump on the feminist bandwagon, has made them so toxic that they are a negative to a man's life instead of a positive. And when that occurs, men have, because I'm living proof, men have edited them out of their lives, and the result is they're by themselves. There are times, now that I kicked the old man out, and I'm living here by myself, there are times when I feel a little bit of something like I need more company, and and there are situations where if there was somebody else here, I would find myself to be more motivated to do something. But there have been times when I've been very fatigued, but I could, honestly, if I'm honest with myself, I could have gotten up to do something. But since nobody was watching, I said, I think I'll just watch another YouTube video. So the result is some things haven't been done. But also the result is, since there's no woman here, I have a vastly lower workload. So even if I'm a little bit lazy, I still have vastly more time and energy available than I would if I had some XY person here. No, XX person here. So it's their loss, and it's very sad for them. But the thing is, stupidity should hurt. It's supposed to hurt, People are supposed to have consequences for stupidity. Welfare has taken away a lot of those consequences, along with printed money and everything. But when the dollar really starts crashing hard, when countries are taking up Bitcoin instead of the dollar, the dollar will lose a lot of value, and therefore they'll be able to print a lot more. But man, anybody holding any dollars, they're screwed. No wonder nobody wants to hold it. They basically, some of our big trading partners in the third world, basically the feds have made contracts with them that they actually have to hold a lot of dollars in reserves and buying our freaking foreign debt. And then the result is every year that dollar value degrades, those countries lose billions, basically. So, and China was one of those countries for a while. They held a lot of our foreign debt, but then they got so strong and powerful that they no longer. They said, "Well, I don't think we're going to do this." So they just sold all the foreign debt, and now very few people want to buy the foreign debt. So the feds, the Federal Reserve, that is. Technically not part of the government, is able to create Federal Reserve notes in return for the foreign debt. I mean, in return for bonds that the government creates, and that's how they get their dollars. And it's not even dollars; it's Federal Reserve notes that just says the dollar on it. So basically, it's a nasty business, but things are changing. I don't know if anybody who isn't into Bitcoin might not know that El Salvador has just made Bitcoin legal tender, just like the dollar. And there are other countries like El Salvador that basically gave up on having their own currency, and they use the dollar as their local currency as well. And people buy their groceries and whatnot with dollars instead of and get paid in dollars instead of whatever currency they have. And Panama is probably next because they are in the same situation. And and I was in Cambodia for that horrible failed vacation back in 2017. What a joke that was. First day there, I fell down and wrenched the living crap out of my right shoulder, and it just wrecked my entire vacation. I was in serious pain all the time I was there. And it just, finally, I gave up on it and came home. It was just horrid. Man, they make travel insurance for that, but I didn't get it. But if I did, I'd probably have to get all kinds of doctor proof that I had a wrenched shoulder, and then they would probably pay me crap. So it probably wouldn't have been worth it. It would have been vastly more trouble than the dollars that I lost, basically. So anyway, as all of these countries start taking Bitcoin as their local currency, all of the value of the dollar is gonna be dropping pretty hard. And then once they do that and they have the dollar as their local currency and start trading with other countries with Bitcoin, then we're going to have a situation where they won't need all of those Federal Reserve notes in their reserves, and they're going to put them up for sale, and then basically we're going to have some serious inflation. I think countries like, entities like BlackRock and a lot of other big Wall Street companies, they're buying up real estate like these houses and single family homes, apartment houses, whatever they can get. And they're buying them up now with their dollars, and they can borrow dollars really cheap, and they can buy all of these houses, buy them out from under us, so we won't be able to own them, and then they turn around and hold it, and then they rent them, and then when the big implosion of the dollar occurs, they'll still have something of real value, and yet they won't have as many dollars on hold. That's why BlackRock is buying Bitcoin heavily as well. And if you are not really familiar with Bitcoin, you might get misled by all the FUD of Bitcoin using all kinds of energy, and it's expensive to transfer Bitcoin. But they're talking about mainnet Bitcoin, whereas the Lightning Network is fully established and very functional and ready to be used, and people are using it a lot, and basically there's this app called Strike in El Salvador that uses Lightning Network by default, and basically the fees for transferring Lightning are just pretty darn close to zero, and way less than a penny. And the transaction are, well, not instant, but like within 2 or 3 seconds, the transaction goes through. I got MGTOW Monger into it, and some friends of his, and they were all extremely impressed by how fast Bitcoin transfers, and you can do it anywhere in the world. People, like a lady cleaning apartments in New York, will be able to flip Bitcoins. We'll be able to flip some of her salary into Bitcoin, and then shoot it to El Salvador, and it'll pop into the person's Strike app, and then since it's legal tender, they will be able to spend it and buy groceries and buy, cars and houses or whatever they need, or save it and save about 30% on the what do you call it, the um, tell what are those companies that transfer money to people? Um, oh well, you know what they are. Basically, the fees on those are terrible, and the result is they'll have a fuck ton more money, about 30% more every month, with the same amount of of money that's being sent. So yeah, good times, man. I'm excited about what's happening. As far as the cancer thing goes, I am still totally pain free, but the fenbendazole, which I think is the result, which I think has saved my life, it's causing tremendous irritation in my the healing tissues in the rectal area where they removed the rectum and sewed my butt cheeks together. Um, and the result is I'm always in pain, sitting down, standing up. I mean, it wasn't anywhere near this bad before I was taking the fenbendazole. Like in Guadalajara, I was the butt pain was only just very barely there. It was just a very dull ache. But once I got on the fenbendazole, boy, it got like enormously worse. So so I'm going to take a week off. A lot of people take 4 days on and 3 days on and 4 days off, or at least they used um, to fight cancer. But I've been taking it like constantly for 3 months, right? So I'm going to give myself a week off. I'm going to heal up a bit and get a few things done, and maybe I can get my butt to Montana and see some of the awesomeness that they've got going there, and before I resume taking it. So unless of course I start developing liver aches and pains again, in which case I'll have to start taking it again. Well, I got 3 more load stabilizers to disable, and I'll be able to do that quickly because I'll have 2 hands available. Then I'm going to go run a few errands, get some breakfast first, or I will probably run out of gas physically. And then I will go pick up that part, and maybe I'll get to work on that electrical problem that I've just been delaying and delaying on. On days that I've been feeling good, it's been pouring down rain, and on days that I've been feeling shitty, it's been sunlight out. Can't win for losing sometimes, but today I've got a chance. I'm going to make some inroads on the project. Well, let's see. Anything else? Yeah. Somewhere out there, there's a woman, and she is by herself. She probably wasn't going to marry me, but whoever she was going to marry ended up marrying someone else, and someone before that, and someone before that, to get to the point where the person that I didn't marry took somebody else's guy. And then eventually, at the end of the little chain, there is some woman who is sitting there by herself with cats, and they can't. Most of them can't earn shit. Most of them aren't worth shit, and she's just hating on men, living with her cat and cats, and living in poverty in some small apartment, and getting victimized by BLM and Antifa, and being a leftist and voting Democrat, and wondering why shit keeps going so wrong. And, you know, stupidity is supposed to hurt. I mean, stupidity hurts, and society does a lot to to smooth the way for stupid people so that they can live a decent life. But eventually, society can only do so much, and the punishment for being stupid will occur, and they're feeling it right now. And without their load, without their expenses, and when women get old, their medical expenses go way the fuck up. And basically, probably in poverty because she can't pay for her medical, and suffering because the fake ass virus lockdown has got all of the medical personnel doing TikTok videos instead of providing medical care. So she's probably without medical care that she's been needing, and the result is she is suffering, and she's probably going to die sooner than she needs to. And the result, and it's all because of taking that lighter and burning that bra and yelling, "Men suck, men suck." and then, you know, it's just stupidity is supposed to hurt, and she is hurting now, and it's not my problem. Well, that's about all I got for you, MGTOWs, and don't get married.